By and large, the biggest failure of the vegan movement is the conflation of true science. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. Last week, I put out a pretty critical commentary around the carnivore diet where I responded to Dr. Sean Baker's comments about myself. Now, today, I wanted to address comments I also made regarding the vegan community. Essentially, I equated the vegan community to the carnivore community in that they are both exclusionary, restrictive nutrition philosophies that can create a disordered relationship with food and a vast amount of nutrient deficiencies because of the popularized methods of following those niche nutrition philosophies. Now, what does that mean specifically with regards to the vegans? Like I pointed out with the carnivore movement, many of those, quote, just meat eaters are eating highly processed foods in addition to their animal-based products. The vegans, I could say the same things, and many times I could say even more because there is a much wider abundance of highly processed foods that the vegans can actually eat, in that they are not made from animal products. Many vegans that I know are very compliant. They follow a whole food, healthful, plant-based approach to nutrition. And those individuals I commend. Unfortunately, they are very few with regards to those who do identify as vegans. Now, I'm going to take this further, and I want to talk about why vegans fail. By and large, the biggest failure of the vegan movement is the conflation of true science, in that the vegans will point to a study of vegetarians. They will conflate that work to assume or infer that that has to also be reflective of a 100% vegan meal plan. Now, let's be clear. A vegan meal plan is 100% devoid of any animal product, period, the end. A vegetarian diet is not a vegan diet, and a vegetarian diet, in fact, is much more of an omnivoric meal plan than it is a vegan meal plan. What does that mean? Vegetarians, pescatarians, lacto-avotarians, most of the specific subgroups of the plant-based world also consume small to moderate amounts of animal-based products. So the vegans have been claiming the vegetarians for decades, when in fact, vegetarians are omnivores. Therefore, much of the science that the vegans point to that is based primarily on a vegetarian lifestyle has nothing to do with a vegan lifestyle, because the most successful nutrition philosophy is that of the omnivore. And when I say an omnivore, I mean a whole food omnivore, not a processed food eater. And it's much easier to be an omnivore eating whole food products, such as we suggest through the DOLCE diet principles, than it is to be a carnivore or a vegan, because we have such a wide variety of healthful whole food options that are excluded through the much more restrictive vegan and carnivore movements. I will also say the ketogenic movement is very similar. The fasting movement, very similar, in that these are exclusionary, restrictive, disordered dietary practices. So once again, why do the vegans fail? The vegans fail because they conflate the science. And anyone with a basic grasp of common sense will immediately see through the ruse. So vegans, I agree that plant-based nutrition is essential for optimal health and performance outcomes. Where you go wrong, vegans, is you pretend as if a vegan diet, a 100% plant-based vegan diet, is optimal or ideal when it is not. Science does not support this. It does not support this, but also experiential observations do not support this. Literally, no data point supports the assertion that a 100% vegan diet will outperform an omnivoric diet with regards to long-term health outcomes, the minimizing of chronic illnesses and diseases, and the extension of lifespan. That, by and large, has been successfully achieved through omnivoric communities, not through vegan communities. And also with regards to sports performance. The highest performing athletes since recorded history have all been omnivores with very, very few exceptions. So few are the exceptions that they would not even rate on a data subset. They would not even rate if we were to take the totality of all highly performing athletes and group them by their nutrition intake. The omnivoric athletes will just completely outperform and have outperformed the vegans, but also the carnivores. To be clear here, the vegans and carnivores, in my opinion, are equally conflated and equally a waste of time when compared against an omnivoric meal plan. Now, all the rage these days is the carnivore community versus the vegan community. But this is a battle that makes no sense. This is a battle for 10th place, if you will. Being a 100% meat eater or a 100% plant eater. Both of these nutrition philosophies are completely ridiculous when compared to an omnivoric meal plan based upon whole food consumption. And to this I will say, vegans, why can I not eat wild-caught salmon as a part of my primarily plant-based nutrition plan? And carnivores, why can I not eat blueberries as a part of my omnivoric meal plan or animal protein-based meal plan? Now, when put side to side, I will lean more towards a whole food vegan diet as being healthier than an animal-only diet with regards to total nutrient consumption, wide varieties of food options that are available in plentiful and low-cost means of entry into that type of meal plan. Now, to close, the vegans, if nothing else, please take this for what it's worth. Stop pretending that a 100% plant-based diet is superior to an omnivoric meal plan. When we are consuming wholesome, healthy, whole foods on any of these meal plans, the omnivoric meal plan completely outperforms a vegan meal plan in every subset, in every category. And we can look at the longest living humans on the planet. We can look at the highest performing athletes on the planet. We can look at the most socially adjusted humans on the planet. Who actually is able to engage in their life, in culture, in society in a more meaningful manner with a lower cost of entry with regards to invasiveness of their lifestyle? Who will statistically live longer and be healthier during the time that they are alive? Who will compete at the highest levels of their own athletic performance? That will be the omnivores nearly 100% of the time. Again, the data is so overwhelming on the omnivore side compared to the vegan side, it's not even worth considering. So again, vegans, this is my call out for you. This is my suggestion to you. And this is why the vegan diet fails nearly every time. It's simply based upon the insistence that your flawed data is to be accepted when it's flawed data. It's flawed data. If a vegan was not so powerfully influenced by confirmation bias, they would have to agree that wild-caught salmon does have tremendous health benefit as just one possibility. Or I could say a cold processed cross-flow microfiltered whey protein isolate. I can't imagine a vegan can truly scientifically assert that a cross-flow microfiltered whey protein isolate that does come from cows, it is a dairy product. They cannot assert that there is any more superior vegan protein supplement because all of science disagrees. It's very clear and obvious. This is the reason why the vegans fail. As passionate as they are and as well-intended as many of them are, they fail because they're conflating the science consistently. And last, if the vegans simply focused their conversation on the ethical side of eating animals, they would take their conversation much farther into being recognized by the general populace. This is where they go wrong. That's almost an afterthought. They constantly try and discuss the medical, the nutrition, the dietetics merit of a 100% plant-based diet, and they don't spend nearly as much time focused on the more compelling argument, which is the ethical side of the argument. Now, we can have an ethical conversation here, and that actually is a much better point for a vegan to stand on as they debate the meat eaters of the world. But when it comes to total health outcomes, when it comes to athletic performance, when it comes to ease of living and engagement within society, there's no comparison to an omnivoric meal plan. I think that's all I really need to say. I hope I covered the points. I'm trying to be as respectful as possible as I can be, but I sit back and I watch these ridiculous debates between the carnivores and the vegans, and it's just so silly. It's literally the battle of 10th place here. Why, instead of focused on first place, what is truly best? What is truly best for the vast majority of the population, the vast majority of their lives? What is truly best? That's a whole food omnivoric meal plan. That is primarily plant-based. I'm happy to go as far as to say that. And you know, here through the DOLCE diet and the DOLCE diet's principles, we do discuss eating 80, 90% of total ingredients from plant-based sources. But rarely, nearly never, would we suggest not having some form of animal-based product mixed into our total healthy meal plan, simply because it doesn't make sense with regards to total health outcomes and total athletic performance. So I'm happy to take any comments. Feel free to leave any comments below. Give this video, bang, 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 a thumbs up if you appreciate the conversation. If there are any vegans out there who would love to have a conversation, dare I say debate with me, I'm happy to have a respectful conversation where we can really drill down deeper. I have tons of science behind me. I don't feel the need to really plaster it onto this conversation. This is much more of a friendly little nudge to the vegan community that if you want to start winning the conversation, if you want to get a little bit more respect, if you want a little more credibility at the table of nutrition, you need to stop pretending that a 100% plant-based diet is the ideal diet for humans, because it's not. We know that it's not. and stop conflating the science to conform the vegetarian world, the omnivoric world. Remember, vegetarians fall under the omnivore umbrella, not under the vegan umbrella. There's crossover with regards to plant-based, but many of the vegans, you cross over into the keto community because some of the keto heads eat a little bit of plant-based, food here and there, some microgreens or some avocado or whatnot. That's another conversation. But once again, guys and gals, I appreciate you being here. Thanks for staying so long into this video. And until next time, boom.